I'm Joe Fury here, and this is Lunch Therapy Interview Friday. Today we're going to be interviewing with our eyes because we have the incredible dancer Amanda Cohen on the stage today to do her dancing. Yes, she of course danced with the Bolshoi Ballet, and then she moved on to be a stripper. And she was a stripper all over the world, and then she became one of the Fly Girls, and then after that she danced with Martha Graham. And
Joe, what are you doing?
What?
You're supposed to be introducing Amanda Cohen.
Amanda Cohen, the dancer, yes.
Yeah, no, the comedian, the hilarious comedian, Amanda Cohen. Yeah.
Oh, you mean the Amanda Cohen, the comedian, is on the show?
She's
this
here.
Show?
Right. She's in the green room with Boney.
Joe, who did you bribe to get that to happen, huh?
I didn't bribe anybody. She knows Boney from
Joe,
Chicago.
well, just let me finish the intro.
Okay, just wrap it up, okay? Because I don't want her to leave.
I don't know. There'll be a dance break at the end of the show, at least. All right, Amanda Cohen, Interview Friday. Yeah, Joe know how to boogie. Yeah, he doesn't quite do his research about the guests or anything, but he's great to have. He's got some great energy, so I keep him around. He's a good guy. So here we are, Interview Friday. I've got the incredible Amanda Cohen on the show, so I can't wait to get to that. But first, we have to breathe. So in through the nose, out through the toes. I've got Amanda in the green room breathing. Shake it out. Let it go. Yeah. Amanda Cohen is a comedian all around Los Angeles and Vegas, and she's got shows going on in Massachusetts. She's a real professional. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. She's breathing. We're breathing. I saw her recently at Adam Lieblein's show that he does at the Flappers, and she just knocked me out. She's hilarious. She's got such a professional demeanor, and yet she is ridiculously funny. One more time, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. We're also going to challenge her to a contest at the end of the show, and we're going to see if we can beat her at her own game. So here we go. Let's get into this thing. Lunch Therapy Interview Friday with Amanda Cohen.
Recognize it? Hello, I'm Professor Glenda Gershenson, and I'm going to explain exactly what underground film is and is not. I'll be your guide for this enlightening look into one artist's journey perfecting the study of film. Today, you'll see what makes an underground film even more special than all the rest. It's going to be a swell demonstration. You know, there's actually a Tinder for diseases. Yeah, it's called Tinder.
Yay! Amanda Cohen, there she is.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me, Joel.
Thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate you being here. You are an incredible talent. I don't even know. I mean, I think you have been doing comedy for a long time, from
what I've been looking at, researching you, and you actually came out of Chicago, right?
Well, it goes way back, actually.
Really?
I started comedy when I was 17
Oh my
in
God.
Massachusetts. Then I went to college in Pittsburgh, and I did it there for about 11 years. Then I moved to Chicago and switched over to improv for a little while. And I came back to comedy about 5 years ago. Oh my gosh, 7 years ago. And 5 years ago, I moved to LA. And here we are.
Wow. Okay, so let's go back here. So you first of all, when you step out on the stage, you have a certain professionalism about you that is so great. But you also, the thing that I really love about you too is you have an awareness of yourself and how you're coming across to the audience, which I think is a huge thing, right?
Yeah. That's kind of the first thing that they, when there are good comedy classes, it's one of the first things they teach is you need to know what the audience sees. Because whether you like it or not, they're going to make assumptions. Nobody can stop that. It's not that they're being prejudiced. It's just that it is natural to see someone and I don't want to say judgments because they're not bad, but just make assumptions.
Yeah.
And I know what I look like and I know what people think, and I go immediately to dismiss those. In fact, one of our viewers today in the chat called me Mrs. Cohen.
Yes.
No, never. Not my scene.
You have that
but again,
awesome bit though.
And make an assumption.
You have that bit about how your casting is actually 30s dowager or something like that.
1940s dowager.
1940s dowager.
On the age of the audience, I'll also say sometimes just frumpy old lady. But yeah, basically my character's, well, I never. That's who I play best. So, yeah.
That's so great. Well, I never. Do they have those roles anymore? We're gonna have to resurrect those roles. I think There's I never.
Not a lot of. Yeah, Margaret Dumont is not working as much as she is.
Yeah. So okay. So wait a minute. You did comedy in Pittsburgh for 11 years. Did you say?
Well,
you went to school there.
I went to school there, and I did comedy the whole 10 years I lived there. And then about a year into moving to Chicago, and then I just decided to focus on improv.
Yeah.
So I did that for, on and off for 20 years. I was also working as a face painter, so that took up a lot of time. So I did a lot of stand-up. And then a friend of mine invited me to host a burlesque show. So I know you're joking about me being a stripper, but fun fact, I've done burlesque.
You have done burlesque. See, maybe Joe Fury saw you early on. Maybe he knows more than I thought. I don't know. Maybe his research is much deeper than mine. Could be.
Or maybe he just correctly assumed that I couldn't waste these,
You can't waste them. You've also done comedy in your in the Altogether, right? In the nude?
Not in the Altogether. No. I've done comedy in underwear. Altogether is Altogether nude. But I have done comedy. I first did that in at a festival at Big Pine in Flagstaff, and then I did a show in Vegas a little before the big lockdown, and the Vegas guys resurrected the underwear show. That's Ryan Baressa in Las Vegas, and
is the audience in their underwear too?
The audience, I think it's like dress as you want, but I don't think there's any problem if audience chooses to go as bare as you dare, as we say.
So do you find that when you're doing stand-up in your underwear that there is an additional layer of exposure, or do you already feel exposed anyway, so it doesn't really matter? It's just another thing. Well,
again, I've done burlesque, so I've worn less than underwear on stage. I've been on stage in pasties where, there is nothing, or very little left to the imagination. So that it doesn't bother me. In fact, a lot of times and I'm talking about burlesque, not just strippers, but burlesque, those costumes are really complicated and heavy, and we love taking them off. It just feels so much better when we're back down to almost nothing. So that part doesn't bother me at all. So doing comedy in my underwear, I have to change a few things because, again, people make assumptions based on what they see. So you have to address different assumptions.
Cappy wants a link to the underwear show. I think you have to go live, and you're going to be doing another one. So,
you have to go live. That is it's in Las Vegas. If you go to my website, you'll see information about it. I think I have put up a ticket link. If I haven't, I will. Yeah, that is all on my website.
Okay.
So,
And
but
that's
you will have to come in person.
amandacomedy.com.
Yes, it is.
amandacomedy.com. I'm going to put that up here.
Yeah.
I'll
And
put it
big in
down
that,
here.
won't you?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
That's
Wow.
pretty good,
On
right?
the fly production.
I know.
I'm
We've
very
got
impressed
some.
with the fly production.
I've got a really great assistant. His name is Boney. He's a skeleton. Some people think that being a skeleton, you might not be able to function as well, but this guy is just, he's an incredible engineer. I put him down sometimes, but it's only in good fun. And he always complains about he never gets any lunch at lunch therapy.
Well, where would it go? It would just fall on the floor.
Right, that's what I say. One time he ate a lasagna. We gave him a lasagna when we got so many subscribers, and he it just went right through him. But I don't know. It makes him feel good. Makes him feel like Boney. Oh, he's in the chat room here. There he is. So we'll be getting some comments. He might be doing some polling today. He's going to try and do some kind of high tech thing during our contest. Are you going to be ready for that contest? Are you good with these? The contest is basically I'm going to show you a joke, and then you're going to tell me which comedian said it. There's going to be 3 choices.
Bring it.
Bring it.
Bring it.
Okay, so you moved to Chicago. Were you like a huge fan of comedy? Were you going, I'm going to go to Second City, this is what I'm going to do? Is that why you went to Chicago?
I had dreamed of going to Second City since I first heard of it. I used to be addicted to Saturday Night Live, and this was in the 80s. So, I was very patient.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing, in interviews and things, Second City this, Second City that. I became a fan of one of the cast members in particular, Tim Kazurinsky.
Yeah.
And I sent him a letter. I almost said email. That didn't exist. I sent him a paper snail mail letter at the show.
You did?
He wrote me what?
Sometimes I think that's a great thing to do. Send an actual letter. But back then, probably really.
But it was the only option. Yeah. So, and he was kind enough to write back, and we exchanged letters for years. And then after I moved to Chicago, which is where he lived, I got to meet him. We had lunch. I booked him on a show once, an improv show that I was producing.
Really?
And he's always, he has, read scripts, and I've read his scripts, and, we go back and forth on that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's more back into theater now, which is freaking amazing. He's great on stage. He's just so fun. I always felt he was kind of one of the underappreciated cast members.
Yeah.
He was on the same time as Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and God knows what happened to her. So.
Yeah, God knows. I think I saw her in a couple of things, a couple of guest spots here and there.
Here and there.
So, did you? What was it like being at Second City at that time? Was it? I was in Chicago at the time too. I think probably around that time.
Yeah, this was around the turn of the century.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I say that too. No one else says that. I always say that. The turn of the century.
Everyone goes into Second City thinking they're the one who's going to be on SNL, or they're the one that's going to be picked for main stage or touring company or the ETC stage or any of the other whatever shows. And after a few months, it becomes pretty obvious who the standouts are.
Yeah.
And you kind of know if you're not one of them. And I knew that. I went into the game a little older than a lot of the people I was doing classes with. And I knew that. I've always had the gray hair. This is just, it was longer at the time. I usually have it like down to here, but it always grew out like a Christmas tree. So I went back to the style I had in high school eventually for stand-up. But so doing improv, it was amazing. And just the history of the place, and
my God,
knowing how many people had come through there, meeting amazing people, and then kind of getting the sense that it's never gonna be mine.
Really? Yeah.
So
are there a lot of politics there? Are there a lot of politics as far as who gets on the main stage or whatever? Mm-hmm.
It's the thing is that the really good people simply are chosen to rise to the top. They're invited. They have auditions for Tourco, which is supposed to be like the first rung, but that's the touring company is Tourco. They had Tourco, they had Redco, Blueco, and they had Brownco. That was a people of color troupe.
Really?
And
Did they really?
Understudy. Yeah.
Wow.
I was an understudy in a group called Gayco.
Really?
Which was kind of a it wasn't an official Second City group, but
Yeah.
it was a play on the Second City name of, all the troops, Torco, Gay. So I was never a cast member, but I was an associate / understudy with them for about 20 years. So, that, and I'm not gay. I am not, but I was allowed to be there as like a token straight. They had a couple of token straights in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So
we
I've
had
always been
Abby Shackner on the show. Was she there at when you were there? Yeah, I love Abby.
yeah,
so
that's
great.
where I met her. I actually
Really?
met her there first. Here, yeah. There's a lot of people in Chicago, in Chicago, who have moved here that I have either come to know or knew when they got here. So
yeah. And so when you made the choice to come out to Los Angeles, you had been there for how long in Chicago?
Well, I had been in Chicago for about 20 years.
Yeah.
And my epiphany was September 2015. I know it very specifically because I saw a show in Indianapolis. I went to see Dana Gould, who has always been a favorite, but I had seen live at some point, but didn't consciously remember it. I just knew I had, because we're both from New England, and I saw him. So I went to see him, and it was like next level.
Yeah.
It was this pure stand-up that I adored. And I decided right then I have to come back. And so it was October 1st, 2015. I did my first open mic. And I kept doing them for a few years in Chicago. And I kind of went from, that crazy lady in the corner to, oh, Amanda's here. So
that's cool. That's cool.
It was a lot of white guys with beards and hoodies, like a lot.
Really?
So I told them to their faces, I'm not going to remember all your names because
did you
you're a bunch of white guys.
Because you all look the same. Did you?
Sorry, I love you. I'm not going to remember all your names. But they had, I was easier to spot, so I was easier to remember, which, wasn't.
Do you think that improv is a young person's game and stand-up is an every person's game?
Well, when you say game, the thing about improv is it's fun even if there's nobody watching. It's the difference between improv and stand-up. Improv is more like sports in that you can just play it and have fun with the people you're playing with, have a great time. But it's also it can be played at any age. And obviously I know some people around my age and a little older who still do improv.
Yeah.
God bless them. And they're good because obviously they've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
And there comes a point where you can't watch another team of 20-something guys do roommate sketches.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
But if you're if you talk about it as a business, you're looking for like people who want to invest in your future and move you up the ladder because they think they can make money off you, then being younger helps. And that's the same in stand-up. So, everything is a young person's game. Anyone who's
you think
hit a certain age has even Julia Louis-Dreyfus did the whole bit about, I don't know if I can swear on the show.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead, please.
But she did a bit on the Amy Schumer show about the last fuckable day, which is, according to Hollywood, your 40th birthday.
Oh my God, you're kidding me.
I was well past that when I know it's hilarious, but that is a sort of an unspoken prevailing sentiment. And I accept that, I know that I'm probably not gonna get past at a big club, and I'm okay with that. I am past at Flappers and I love them. They've been very generous to me.
What do you mean when you say past?
When you're past at a comedy club, that means you get booked there by the club. Because I've played the Comedy Store and I've played the Improv, but only on shows that other people booked.
Yeah.
People who are past get invited to do shows booked by the club. And that is unlikely to happen because they have a very strong preference to people with big credits, as well as people who are young and pretty, and ideally both. That's why a lot of clubs sell out with, TikTok stars and YouTube stars. Hugely popular.
Yeah.
May not be funny, but they put butts in seats, and that's all that really matters in the game.
Do you okay, so there's a couple of biases maybe against like there's ageism and there's sexism in comedy and all this stuff. How do you
don't forget racism?
And racism. How do you thrive in an environment like that? Is it something that you just ignore? Is it something that you actively do certain things to kind of overcome it? How do you, what do you do about that?
Well, it's very hard. You can't be vocal about, clubs aren't booking women, because even if they do turn around and book women, you're not going to book a complainer.
Yeah.
So you can't really be vocal about that. And I get that. I can't really combat it in the large sense. All I can do, I can only really worry about my career and my gigs. And what I do is take pretty much every show I'm offered. Not exactly, but I'm very flexible with shows. I'll drive a long way for almost nothing.
Well, the other thing about it is your comedy there's an audience. There's a big, huge audience for your comedy. Your comedy is really funny. It can play any place. And it also is something that people can identify with all over everywhere. And,
Yeah, although I got to tell you, my primary audience appears to be wineries. I do
really
very well at wineries. Yeah,
I was watching you do a set at this winery, and it was just killing. And I think you're right.
It's my zone. Somehow, that's my zone.
Blas says, improv is a gift some may never receive. Interesting. Who is the receiver of the gift? I have to
agree with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I learned long form and short form, and I love short form games. I've been on a couple of stand-up shows where all the stand-ups then go up and do a short form game. And one of my favorite games is called Sex with Me. And it's a one-liner game where you sex with me is like such and such. And the audience suggests the such and such, and I was in a situation where I was with three of my buddies. We were like in a holding area for performers, and we played Sex with Me for about 2 hours, and we were
really
dying. We were laughing so hard and just digging up this comedy that none of us would have thought of individually.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. So yeah, improv is very much still a part of my life, even if I don't get to do it on stage. I always dreamed of starting an improv group of people like 50 and over and call it the Voice of Experience.
I think it's a good idea. Because I don't believe in any of this ageism stuff. I don't believe in any of it. Like, I don't think it's, I was asking the question, but I don't think it's a young person's game. I think that it's everybody's game. And I think we have strengths and weaknesses as we get older. Like, as we get older, we have so much to draw from, so many references that, maybe sometimes it goes over some people's heads. Like you make a reference to B. Arthur in your comedy. And sometimes people are like, cause you look like maybe a younger B. Arthur, but, she was so great though. I mean, she was such
the best. She is actually, she was one of my inspirations from early on. Because my mom was a feminist. So, compared to every other show on TV, I would see Maude, in reruns. I didn't see it first run.
Yeah.
But I would see it in reruns and think, oh my gosh, that person is like my mom. I want to be like that person.
Yeah. She was so great.
So funny. And I love that. I actually got to see her live once.
Did you?
Amazing. Oh, she was fabulous. Yeah. It was just a one-woman show where she, like a cabaret type of thing, but in a huge theater. And she talked and she did songs and, it was beautiful.
Oh, that's great. You're also a Weird Al Yankovic fan, is this right?
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah? Did you, you're like, you are. Were you introduced to Weird Al Yankovic through Dr. Demento, or how did you find Weird Al Yankovic eventually? Originally.
Heard people talking about a guy who rewrote lyrics to songs.
Yeah.
And I bought his second album. That's the first one I bought. Mm-hmm. I felt like I had come in late because I missed the first album.
Yeah.
But we actually did not have Dr. Demento where I grew up. I knew about Dr. Demento. Mm-hmm. And I finally, I was at camp and we had a little radio and I managed to, find some, distant staticky radio station and listen to some of it. And then when I went to Pittsburgh, I listened religiously every Sunday with my friends.
Really?
And we would order the Demento pizza, the same pizza every week, and eat pizza and listen to the show. So, and the great thing about that is that I became a fan of not just a lot of stand-ups, but a lot of musical comedians.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten to work with some of them. One in particular is a guy named Tim Cavanaugh out of Chicago.
Yeah.
I was a fan when I lived in Pittsburgh, and then when I moved to Chicago, I got to interview him for an article. Actually, I might have interviewed him before I left Pittsburgh. But by the time I got to Chicago, we knew each other, and now again, we're friends. We've worked together. So that, is a thing that has been kind of consistent.
You do those songs too. Like there's one on YouTube. I wish I could call it up, but there's a song that you wrote. I have a couple parodies on.
Yeah.
There's one about
3 song parodies
about the insurrection.
That was my most recent one. I did. It was the Battle of Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
If you want to Google that. Because it had to be said. And the thing is, I don't write a lot of parodies, but whenever I hear and feel something that needs to be said, I'll write it. Like when in the middle of early 2021, when people were like, it's over, no more masks. Everyone just wanted the pandemic to be over. And I thought, no, it's too soon. It's too soon. And then I thought of Blue Moon. So the parody of Blue Moon.
I got to see that one too. So these are all on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I didn't record that one.
You didn't.
Steve Goody recorded that. I did backup vocals, but I basically wrote it. So yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Also something you should know about my my insurrection song is that the drums are Al's drummer, John Bermuda Schwartz.
Really? Have you? Bermuda Schwartz is his name? I love that.
Yeah, so let's go back again to the turn of the century.
Yeah.
In 98, I hosted my first convention for fans of Weird Al in Chicago.
Oh, you did? Whoa, you are a big fan.
And we had about 300 people at the first one, and Al showed up. As a
my God, that's so great. Yeah.
It was amazing. Like, he sent us a video where he's saying, I'm really sorry. I can't be there for AlCon. It seems really, what the heck? I'm not that busy. And he runs off camera, like, in LA, and then ran into the room. Oh,
that's so great. I love
everybody.
it. Everyone's crazy. I'm sure.
Everyone flipped out. I flipped out. And then the second one, they were on tour, so I couldn't, book them. So we got Dr. Demento for the second one. It happened to be his 20th anniversary at the time.
Really?
And then the third one, we got Al and Bermuda, and Al's wife came, and it was pretty amazing. So
they made a movie.
I like that they became friends, and now he's making a movie.
Yeah, they made a movie. Yeah.
The movie is actually the extended version of a clip, like a fake preview that he showed in concert that somebody made, like as a sort of a fan thing. And now it's going to be a full movie.
Oh, but there's also a biography movie starring the guy who plays Harry Potter, right?
You're talking about UHF was the first movie. Yeah.
No. There's like another biopic that's coming out. Or I never know how to say.
The one.
Oh, that's the one you're talking about. That's the one you're talking about. Okay.
It's called Weird.
Weird. That's it. Weird.
It's kind of based on the short that was not really a movie, but like everyone kind of thought, everyone saw that and thought, oh, that's, we want that. And it took so many years, to finally get it together. So we were, and then when they announced Daniel Radcliffe playing Weird Al, that's when it's like, okay, this isn't going to be 100% accurate to Al's life.
But I guess Daniel Radcliffe just had a blast, from what I understand. Just had a blast.
How would you not? I mean, Andy's a fan because all the smart people are.
That's right. We have I have the same birthday as Weird Al, so I have a very
October 23rd. Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, you knew. You know. Wow, that's impressive.
1959, born in an elevator. What else?
Oh my God, that's so great. Jason Edelman's a fan of UHF. We're gonna have to revisit that movie.
That's a freaking great.
Matt Wright says Dr. Demento was one of those places where you could actually hear American punk rock and other indie music before there were many channels for it. That's true. It's true.
I learned so much. I mean, that's where I heard, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince for the first time. And
yeah, me too.
And, so many, so many punk. He actually, his most recent release, Doc is still out there. He's still doing a show. You have to subscribe to on his website, drdemento.com. But yeah, he released a compilation a couple years ago, Demented Punk.
Really? I was such a
like,
huge fan of that, but I didn't know a lot of people that were listening to it. I would just listen to it on my radio at night,
I
And
learned so much because he would say, "Oh, this person came up from here and used to do this.
Yeah.
And they do." And they learned it, and I learned just so much. That's where I learned a lot about Weird Al.
Me too.
Though I was already a fan, I did not. I mean, I knew the connection, but it wasn't until I started listening that I really got to hear it. And oh gosh, this turning point in my life.
Howard and I were both thinking of the song Fish Heads. Fish Heads really helped pull their Fish Heads.
Okay, so I told you in 2000 we had Dr. Demento as our guest for his 20th anniversary. We secretly created. You remember Behind the Music?
Yes,
MTV?
Of course. Yeah,
we created Behind the Dementia, and that was one of my first trips to LA in '99. My co-producer Mike Hoffman and I went to LA, and through the magic of just looking up phone numbers, we connected with all these Demento people, and we got to interview. We interviewed Barnes and Barnes, Art and Artie Barnes, excuse me, also known as Michael Hamer and Bill Mooney. And we interviewed Stan Freberg.
Really?
And we interviewed Al. We interviewed Henry Phillips. We got Emo Phillips in there.
Do you have a recording of this? Of these interviews?
Yeah, it's actually on the YouTube.
It is. I'll have to find it.
On YouTube, yeah.
Ginny Sykes says...
Behind the Dementia.
It's called Behind the Dementia. I got to find that. Ginny said, I heard Fish Heads first on Dr. Demento. The classic was co-written by Billy Mummy from Lost in Space. Is this true?
Bill Mummy.
Bill
M-U-M-Y. Bill Mummy.
And that's who you mentioned.
I accidentally called him Billy, and he said, Billy's not here. So he prefers Bill.
Whoa.
If you
All right.
him, you call him Bill.
This is fascinating.
I meant Robert Hamer. Anyway,
I would love to.
And I interviewed Richard Cheese before he was Richard Cheese.
Richard Cheese? Who's Richard Cheese?
Oh, dude. Richard Cheese is a lounge singer who does covers of filthy rap and metal songs.
Really? I got to see that.
In a lounge style, and he's great. And before that, he was in a comedy duo that did radio, and we got to interview him then with his partner, the Iceman. And then when he became Richard Cheese, I'm like, oh, I know that guy.
I think that we're in for some competition with you because you seem to have, your knowledge runs deep. Deep.
Well,
I should have made a tougher quiz for the end of the show.
Before I started doing comedy, I was a fan from as early as I can remember because my dad played comedy all the time.
Really?
And there was a weekly local radio show on 105.9 WHCN. Mm-hmm. And it was an hour of comedy, just clips of comedy. It was cleaned up for radio in case, but they would play the whole hour. And then at the end, they would backsell or, list all the comics that they had played.
Yeah.
So I would quiz myself every night, every Sunday. I would sit in front of the radio and write down who I thought everybody, and if I didn't know, I would just put a question mark. And then at the end, I would write down the answers and make sure I got everybody right. So as a result, I can identify a lot of comics from the 60s through the 80s by voice.
Wow, by voice. Yeah. I was stuck on Steve Martin and Cheech and Chong mainly when I was growing up.
I heard a lot of them.
But you listened to like the Fireside Theater and some other things,
Fireside Theater.
Fireside.
I still love them. The ones that are left. We're running out of them. I saw them live once. It was astounding. I don't know if they're comedy. I guess they're going to be in the comedy bin, but they're more theater of the mind and
I don't know. I don't know that much about them. I just know that they were like really early on kind of sketch. I don't know what you call it. Sketch comedy. What would you call it? They kind of invented some of this stuff.
It was like bizarro radio type theater. They did albums. And if you're going to start out with Fireside Theater, I recommend the album Don't Crush That Dwarf, Hand Me the Pliers.
Okay. I'll have to look at that.
And if you like that, then I recommend going to I Think We're All Bozos on This Bus.
So were they like an American Monty Python?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
Monty
check it out.
Python was more sketch oriented with strange transitions.
Yeah. Like
Firesign Theater was just like ongoing craziness. Things kind of melded. They weren't. There were some sketches you could kind of pull out of context, but not a lot.
Okay, so they were kind of intertwined much more. Well, interesting.
With a story, with an actual story from beginning to end. Yeah,
wow.
Just amazing stuff.
This is fascinating. I could talk about this all day. I just I want to get to the contest because we're going to run out of time otherwise, and we've got some people chomping at the bit. No, this is great. I'm so happy to be talking with you about this stuff. I still never even got to the scuba diving. There's a picture on your YouTube page of you scuba diving. Is that something you do?
Yeah. Fun fact. I always wanted to scuba dive, and I went with a friend of mine. In fact, my friend Mike. We went to Hawaii in November 2001 when airline tickets were really cheap for a minute.
Yeah.
If you recall, he called me up and said, "You want to go to Hawaii for $200?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we did a thing called snuba, which I've learned is called the gateway drug, where it's halfway between snorkel and scuba. And I wanted to scuba dive, but I was wearing contact lenses and I was afraid. Oh. And the day I got disposable contact lenses, I signed up for scuba classes.
Oh, wow.
Got certified on Maui, and that was, I think, 2005 or 6 or something. And I dove for years. I went almost every year. And then I started doing comedy again and suddenly didn't have enough money to go scuba diving.
Whoa, isn't that weird how that happens? We had Martina Wing was on our show, and she's in Hawaii, and she does swimming with the manta rays, which is just an incredible experience. I'm going to do that someday. Yeah. So, all right. So we're getting into the contest now. Are you ready? Yes. Is everybody ready? Okay, let's do this thing. Contest. All right. So here we are. It's contest time. And I've got the chat room here. It's always difficult to see. And they are, it lags in the chat room. So they're like
that
slower.
means I can win because
that means you can win. And so we have all kinds of different things that we try and do to handle that. But anyway, so this is what's going to happen. I'm going to give them, if you could put your hand in front of your eyes, I'm going to let them see it. Yeah. I'm going to let them see the thing first.
I'm not looking, I swear.
Okay. And we're going to see. Okay. So, all right, take your hands down, because actually there's just 3 choices. So we can try and take a poll basically and see what the chat room says, the hummingbirds, and see what you say. So here's the joke. The joke is, my report card always said Jim finishes first and then disrupts other students. I don't know. This one seems kind of easy. I don't know. Is it John Cleese, Jim Carrey, or Dave Chappelle? The Mike Tyson of trivia. Let's see up here. Did I lose you because you now are frozen in a thinking posture, and clearly the thing gives away the person. I think that she froze. Okay, so that's going to give the chat room. I love that, the way she froze too, because she's like, it's like she's thinking, and sometimes I don't even know. So, okay, so this is going to be Jim Carrey. This is good that we got through this one because this was the easy one. Chappelle, John Cleese, who's buried in Grant's tomb. She is stumped. I'm going to have to kick her out and have her come back in. All right, she'll be back in a moment. Here she is now. Oh, I lost her again. We're going to lose our contestant. No, she'll come back. She looks like a female Groucho Marx. Took a screen print. Love her frozen pose. Yeah, it was good. I wish I had just even the frozen pose here now, but I don't. Anyway, we're gonna get past this, of course, because that's what we do here. So I've got the chat. Maybe I could mess with the chat room while she's gone. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Chat room is so difficult. Anyway, you all see the chat room. Now, let's see what's happening. This is a disaster. Guignol, I always say, oh my God, it is a complete disaster. And then Guignol is like, you got to look up the word disaster. She went to the green room, never came back. Yeah, because, you know how bony can be in that green room. All right, so I'm going to go to another one while we're waiting for her. Maybe she left because the question was so easy. She's like, screw this. No, that was the warm-up question where we just kind of try. Okay, so this is how it works, is the names disappear and you're left with the final one. Yay! She's reconnecting. Her power went out. Okay, good. We got a message finally. Yes, she's reconnecting. Take your time. Everything's cool. She's using... Okay. All right. Now, let's see if we can get her. Not yet. Maybe her agent called. That could be. Joel, give me her number. Yeah, I wish I had her number. I don't think I have Amanda's number. She's a magician. Let's see. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. It's giving us a hard time, but it'll work out. I don't see her face, unfortunately. Can you hear me? All right. Zoom link time. What if I were to do... Let's try it one more time. I think we're going to have to try like a Zoom link or something, because... Let's see what the chat room says. She's a magician. Calm down, people. All right. Let's see what she making any shtick. She hates the phone. She refuses to give people's... Oh, Joel hates the phone. He refuses to give people's numbers. Yeah, I'm phonophobic. All right, so here we go. This is going to be... Well, let's try it one more time. Oh, yes. I was like, let's try it one more time. I was about to resort to the Zoom.
Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
My power just went out completely.
Oh, my
router
God.
had to restart.
No way. Well, you know,
I'm so sorry.
It just shows people the importance of modems and routers.
When it was not my agent because I don't have one. That's not true. I have a commercial agent.
Yes, you do.
But oh my gosh, yes, and that's what I did. I connected on my phone, and then it disconnected, and then my modem. Oh, whatever.
It's okay.
Garbage.
It's all right. It's live.
It's Jim Carrey. Because
it was Jim Carrey.
The punchline had the name Jim in it.
That's
Come
right.
on.
So this was the warm up. Now we're gonna get. Now it's gonna get more difficult.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it's gonna get more difficult.
What? I feel like I missed a lot.
You missed nothing.
Video.
All we did was hang out and wait for you. And try and figure it out. I was gonna maybe go to Zoom, and then they were saying like I should call you, and I'm like I don't have her number and all that stuff.
Aww.
So here we go.
I have to give you my number.
Yeah, definitely. You next time. Okay, where it all went wrong was the day they started the spelling bee, because up until that day I was an idiot, but nobody else knew. Let's see what.
That sounds like Brian Regan.
Oh, that's interesting. Danielle says Regan. Don't be sorry, Amanda. You're great. They can't hold you down. So are you going to change your answer?
I'm changing my name to Kevin Hart.
You're changing your name.
My answer to Kevin Hart. Yes,
okay. Kevin Hart is your answer. So far from the chat room, the only real answer we have is from Guignol, who says Reagan. Kamala says Kevin Hart. Let's see.
Regan.
Regan. Ronald Reagan.
Yep. No, Brian Regan.
Brian Regan's hilarious. He's hilarious. And you know what? Let's see if he said it. And, okay. It's between Roseanne Barr and Brian Regan. And it is Brian Regan. Wow.
Dang it. I should have changed my answer.
Oh, that's okay. You know how it is when you change your answer. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. That's how it is. All right, let's get on to the next one.
Math is impeccable. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just pulling up the chat over here and just catching up to everything here.
I have no scoreboard, but this is going to be a no scoreboard situation. Okay,
That's Chris Rock.
you're saying that when you meet somebody for the first time, you're not meeting them, you're meeting their representative. You know that's Chris Rock, huh?
I believe that is Chris Rock
Wow. Let's see
because I
what
can
the
hear that in his voice.
chat room says. Yeah, that's the thing. Is
Carol Burnett was not a stand-up. You know that,
sometimes you
right?
can hear them saying it. She was a comedian, but not a stand-up that I know of.
Yes.
Jose says Chris Rock. Guignel says Chris Rock. Chuck says Carol Burnett. Amanda won. Hummingbirds won. Okay, so I'm going to get the scoreboard on here too. What the heck? What the heck, man? Let's do this thing
There's
right.
a scoreboard?
Yeah, there's
Oh
a
my
scoreboard. Hold on. It's going to be right here.
I'm seeing double.
I know there's
This
two
is
of me.
weird.
This is a weird.
You guys seeing this too?
Just because I'm trying to get the scoreboard. Hold on one second.
Cappy, you're right. Follow my gut. I'm going to say Chris Rock and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, stick with it. Okay. Hold on here.
Who are the hummingbirds?
That's the people in the chat room. That is what we call our chat room here.
Wow.
It is a cult, by the way, and you're now a member of the Hummingbird cult.
I'll have to think about how I feel about that cult.
Yeah, you'll have to think about it. I know you're a cult leader because I saw a clip of you being one.
Oh yeah, you know what? That movie.
Yeah.
That was a pilot that I shot in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, in Chicago.
Yeah.
It was part of a pilot contest. It wasn't like anything that got produced or anything. It was just all homemade. Kumail Nanjiani was actually in the cast. There's a shot where you can see him in the audience.
Really?
In his church while preaching. Yeah. I used to know Kumail.
Yeah, you
I don't
did.
think he knows me anymore.
You worked with him. You worked with them.
Yeah. In fact, he did comedy at some of the burlesque shows that I worked at.
Wow. So
not stripping.
Of course not.
Working it.
Yes, working it. So okay, so it is tied now. It's tied, and let's see. You're saying Chris Rock. What are the hummingbirds saying? See, that's the thing is I need to learn how to make a poll. We were going to have Boney try and make a poll, but it's
you had a poll that wondered if I was coming back. Thanks a pant load.
That's her poll. Okay, so here we go.
But I appreciate your faith, everybody.
Chris
Tucker. Nice.
Everybody's very, very patient. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. You say Chris Rock. So it's basically Chris Rock. If it's Chris Rock, you get the point. Tie goes to the guest.
It's definitely not
Carol
Burnett.
Chris Rock. Yay! Yeah. So you get the point. Hummingbirds get to be upset because they didn't get the point. They're delayed, but they're also a lot of them. There are a lot of them. So, here's the next one. Why do they call it rush hour when no one moves?
Oh,
Jim Gaffigan, Kathy Griffin, Robin Williams.
This is kind of a trick because I believe Robin Williams told the joke. That doesn't mean he wrote the joke.
Interesting. I think
that joke was old enough that it had to be Robin Williams. I don't think Jim Gaffigan or Kathy Griffin would have done a joke on such a simple concept because they came 20 years after Robin Williams. So I believe that would have been something Robin Williams said. I'll put it that way. Okay. If not a Robin Williams joke.
Everyone is saying Robin Williams. And everyone is agreeing with you because that was a because
my fans are comedy fans.
Studied answer too. I love it. So I think you're correct. Yes. And there you go again.
Dude. What is the saying from Princess Bride? Do not go up against an Italian where life is at stake or something.
Right,
or a Spaniard. Yeah. Do not go up against Amanda Cohen when comedy is the question.
That's right. Guignel says he said it first. I can't do the whole thing of who said it first this time because it's just too complicated. So I'm going to go. If Amanda gets it, she gets the point. If she doesn't get it, Mitch Hedberg. Okay.
It's Mitch Hedberg. I can tell you that right now because of the many reasons. Because first of all, it's such a conceptual joke, and also because you spelled out because I did not pretend to water them. He had a very specific cadence.
Oh, I like that.
Any normal comic would have said didn't, but he would say did not.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, Mitch Hedberg.
Boney is my assistant is saying, if you want me to do polls on the questions, I need them before the show. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that's the plan next time, Boney. We'll try and do polls that way. Wanda Sykes, Mitch
I love her. Not
Hedberg.
her. I love Steve Martin. It was not him. It was Mitch Hedberg.
All right, let's see who it is.
I'd stake my life on it.
You stake your life on it? Wow, that's pretty intense. I think you're right,
another
though.
Quote from Princess Bride.
Okay, we had a whole week on Princess Bride on this show.
I love
it was
that.
super fun. I love that show. I had never seen it, and so we watched it and just talked about it for a week. Yay, Mitch Hedberg, you got it. Jose said
I only
Hedberg.
missed the first one because there was a power failure.
Yes, right. Well, that was just a warm up, but they did
I'll
get
give
that
you
one.
that one. Yeah.
So 3-1. I'm the worst today. Well, maybe I'm the worst most of the time on these things. I mean, I'm no Alex Trebek. Oh, you got it already? It's so. Why don't you read it then? You read it.
It's so great to find that one special person that you want to annoy for the rest of your life.
You did it just like her.
I seen her do it.
Okay, we'll see. You've seen her do
Rudner, it? Oh yeah, I saw her live a few times.
Really?
I feel like I did. If I didn't, I saw her do sets a few times. Yeah. She talked a lot about being single, and then she got married, and her act changed a lot.
A lot.
I would say it was never quite as good as when she was single, but she's still freaking brilliant, and also one of the very few women doing comedy in the 80s and early 90s. They're just like a handful of women who were known for it. And she was one of them, and she has my endless respect, and I love her, and I'm pretty darn sure this is her joke. If it's not, I'm going to be unhappy.
All right, we'll see. We don't want you unhappy.
Rita, if you're watching, forgive me.
It's George Burns, Rita Rudner, and it is Rita Rudner. Oh, my God. Just Jay says she's never seen Rita.
She's look up. Just everything is on the YouTubes. Look her up on the YouTubes. Rita
That's what's
Rudner.
So great. Joel created a big controversy when he said that the sword fights in Princess Bride were shitty. Yeah, I did. And then we got like a master swords person on the show and proved me wrong.
It's a fantasy. They're not supposed to be good. They're supposed to be showy.
I love the movie so much.
A sword fight in character?
Yes, multiple times. I think Amanda's a ringer. Yeah, I think you are a ringer.
You know what? If knowing my comedy history makes me a ringer, then I'm a ringer.
All right, let's do this.
Someday I'll be a dead ringer.
You're definitely a ringer. Okay, I'm big enough to admit that I am often inspired by myself.
Ooh, I believe that is. Ooh, that could be Zach or Mindy. I'm going to go with Zach Galifianakis. Because a lot of the stuff he does is about how great he is, which is the opposite of what most comedians do. The comedian can never be the winner. Comedians,
that's funny.
If everything is great in a comedian's life, then they're not going to complain. They have no act. So you have to have a blind spot. And for him, the blind spot is thinking he's the greatest. So I believe, and again, that could be said of Mindy, but I believe this joke is old enough that it is Zach Galifianakis.
I love that concept of a blind spot. That's one of my favorite things in comedy. Okay, let's see now. Tina says she loves Rita Rudner. Yeah, that's for sure. Now let's see what the chat room says. Zach, that Howard Aronin agrees with you.
Howard, you are the best. I love you, and I bet you're right too.
Blas Lorenzo says Zach. Jose says Zach. Everybody's saying Galifianakis here. Kamala is saying Mindy.
I said it. I don't want.
I don't think so. Although it would be you'd be a good person to follow for sure on this one. Joel has a lot of blind spots. Yeah, I do.
Nice.
All right, so everybody is saying pretty much Zach Galifianakis except for Kamala, who's saying Mindy Kaling. So let's see what it is. Oh, Zach went first.
But it's Mindy.
It is not Mindy. No one got it. It's Amy Poehler.
She's newer, so I'm not as up on the newer people.
Okay. Was she a groundling, or was she a Second City person?
I believe she came out of Second City and then helped form Upright Citizens Brigade.
Oh, that's what she is.
And
Upright Citizens Brigade. Yeah.
UCB, and then they had a theater in New York. Well, they had a TV show, and
Yeah.
they had enough money to suddenly buy a theater in New York, and that ran for a very long time, and that theater is no more.
Isn't that
But
sad?
we still have Amy Poehler.
Yes, we do. And there, Kamala
I
agrees.
did get to see once. I saw Tina Fey and Rachel Dratch, who were on the main stage at Second City. They had
Yeah.
a 2-woman show that was basically their audition for Second City, and it was
Really?
amazing.
Really?
They were so good.
It's great.
But I never saw Amy Poehler live, and I don't think of her as a stand-up. So you cheated.
I remember her also saying that she doesn't audition well either. She doesn't like to audition at all. The thing is,
Does
maybe
she have to?
yeah, she doesn't have to. Maybe
Give hummingbirds the point there. They get the point there.
nobody got it. Nobody said Amy Poehler. No one in the whole chat room.
Nobody. Oh, that's right. Somebody said Mindy.
Yeah.
No points.
Here's the next one. People always ask me, "Were you funny as a child?" Well, I was an accountant. This is the kind of joke that I like.
Now, these are getting harder.
Yeah.
These are getting harder.
Yeah. So we've got John Oliver, Ellen DeGeneres, Gary Shandling. These are all stand-ups. I think John Oliver,
They
yeah,
are,
he's a
in
stand-up.
fact, all stand-ups.
These are all stand-ups.
I got to interview Ellen DeGeneres once.
Did you?
In the early 90s when she was just breaking.
Chuck says Bob Newhart.
Anyone who came to Pittsburgh or Chicago, I interviewed at some
You
point.
did? Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I found a way to write for local newspapers, so I had an excuse to interview comedians.
It's a great
So I
idea.
talked to,
I love interviewing
Oh, yeah.
comedians as we're doing now. I love it.
yeah, exactly.
Comedians are the best.
Well, it's either John Oliver or Gary Shandling. I don't believe Ellen said it. It could be Ellen, though. Oh, no, I can't decide.
This is a rough one.
Can I get a hint?
A hint?
Are there
No hints. I can't give a hint because it'll just give it away. It'll give it away.
Well, then it's probably Ellen.
You're going with
Is
Ellen?
that
Is
what
that
you're-
your final answer?
No, it's not my final answer. I never have a final answer. I'm so confused.
All right, we're gonna have to do
People
it.
ask me,
So
"Were you funny as a child?" Well, I was an accountant.
it's a weird one. It's definitely
You know
it's
what?
like
I guess-
surreal or sarcastic or yeah. I was an accountant.
Okay. I'm gonna go blindly and go with the hottest one on the list, John Oliver.
Okay. All right. And so the chat room seems to mainly be saying, let's see, there's a Gary, there's a John Oliver, there is Shandling. Wow. And Bob Newhart. Oliver, Jose says Oliver. Tina Adams says Oliver. All right, let's do this thing. So you're saying Oliver as well. Everybody's saying John Oliver, except for a few people who are saying Gary Shandling. And let's see what happens.
If it turns
Gary
out to be
Shandling's
Ellen,
gone. John Oliver's gone. It's
shut the front door.
No one got it again.
Oh, I'm fired. You just shoot me now. It's over. My life is over.
Yeah, everybody said
Knowledge has
Ellen.
holes in it.
Verna said Ellen at the last minute. I think
You get the point.
I'm going to give her the point.
Hummingbird.
Yeah, hummingbirds get it.
Give
Okay.
it to the hummingbird.
I think there are only like 2 more or something, but unfortunately we
when
have
will
to
this
end the show.
torture end?
We have to end the show soon. Let's try just 2 more. Tonight I saw a guy who had not aged or gained a pound in the pandemic. He was unrecognizable. Ken Jeong, Wanda Sykes, Sally Mullins.
Okay, now this is cheating because Sally's a friend of mine.
Right, mine too.
If I don't get it right, whether or not she said this, then she's never going to forgive me, and I'll never get to play Ventura again. That just makes me sad. I saw a guy who not aged or gained a pound.
Blas
Yes,
says
Chuck,
Sally.
the suspense is killing me too.
Guignol says
I believe
Mullins.
that was Sally. I'm going to go with Sally. I think that could be a Sally joke.
And that's your final
And
answer?
if it's not Sally, then look who I'm comparing you to. So
It's interesting because
I'm gonna
Norm Macdonald was on some kind of show where you win $1 million. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something like that. And at the very end, he had the choice between two things, and he guessed. And then the host was like, "Is that your final answer? Are you sure?" And then he changed his mind and he lost. Well, he only won $500,000. But yeah,
that was Norm Macdonald. I didn't know there was a celebrity.
I know. Google it. It's the weirdest thing, but it's true.
Here's a fun thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember the original reality show Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire?
Yes.
When they revealed the millionaire, a guy named Rick Rockwell, I said, I know that guy. He's a comedian. I've interviewed that guy. And I posted that. And then I got an email from the website The Smoking Gun, and they said, "How did you know?" I'm like, "Well, I interviewed him. I've done, I have his press kit from the early 90s, and I was able to corroborate his address." So they were able to prove that they were able to prove that a restraining order that they had found in the name of Rick Rockwell was the same guy.
That's
so
intense.
When that came out, I helped break that because, again, my endless comedy knowledge, which today we're finding.
Oh my God! It's like all the president's men around here. She like broke the. That's incredible. You go back and watch The Dating Game, and there's all these comedians on there, like Steve Martin.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's hilarious. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so what are you going with, Sally?
I'm going with Sally. I love you, Sally.
A lot of people in the chat room are going with Sally as well. So,
but I love you too if you're saying Sally because she's very funny.
Okay, here we go. Ken Jeong is gone.
Bye, Ken.
Drum roll, please. Sally Mullins! Yay! You know where I got that? Was off her Twitter.
No kidding.
She posted it like yesterday.
There's so many good jokes on Twitter that just disappear into the ether. I had one joke during the pandemic that I was so proud of, and it like got retweeted by somebody famous, and that's like the height I've ever achieved on Twitter.
So great.
And the joke was when there was rioting in the middle of the pandemic.
Oh yeah. That was crazy.
And they also had this thing where like supermarkets had to open early for people who couldn't handle the rush. Yeah. And the joke I had was, oh gosh, what was it? Anyone over 65 can begin looting at 7 a.m.
Oh my God. There's like a special time for anyone over 65, just like at the shopping. Yeah. That's so great.
That joke is probably the best I'll ever get.
As far as topical humor.
I did write a joke for Jimmy Brogan, and I'm waiting for him to do it so I can claim credit.
Oh, that's great. Jeff Lohman liked the joke. He's all the way in Thailand. He just popped in here.
Thailand?
He's one of our roving reporters.
It would be so great if I knew something in Thai to say to him.
Wouldn't that be cool?
So, oh, well.
All right. On that note, when Jeff has just arrived, we're going to have to end the show. Unfortunately, you have won the challenge. Congratulations. Thank you for playing this. It's 3 a.m. in Thailand, so that's pretty cool. You showed up and just to hear that joke. It's cool.
I'm impressed.
So let's move on.
It was worth it.
Yeah, it was super. I think it was worth it. Taiwan on, Chuck says. All right, let's move on to the dance break. So at the end of the show, we play a song. It's a cover song by somebody on YouTube. Today, I'm redoing one because it's so good. Kyle McKerney. He is he's an incredible musician from Canada, and he's covering a Led Zeppelin song. Are you a Led Zeppelin fan at all?
I like them more because of nostalgic reasons, but I was more into the Who around that time.
Oh, the Who! I love the Who.
And then I got into Devo, and it just went downhill from there.
Oh my God, I love Devo too. I'm gonna have to get some cover songs for Devo on this show now that you bring it up. And of course, I'm going to have to get Weird Al Yankovic on the show because we have the same birthday. But he is, of course, traveling the country now, doing live concerts.
He is.
Yeah.
The Ill-Advised Vanity Tour.
The Ill-Advised Vanity Tour.
Well, it's actually the second part of the Ill-Advised Vanity Tour. I forgot the full name of it, but yeah, that. he's doing almost entirely original songs. There's a little medley
cool.
of his a little medley of parodies in the middle,
Yeah.
but not performed the way you're used to them, and the rest of it is original songs. The tour is a love letter to the fans.
Oh, that's
And
great.
we love him too.
Yeah, we love him. All right, let's dance it out to Kyle McCurney. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is Kyle McCurney. This song has, I believe, some banjo in it. And a lot of my hummingbirds, they love to see banjo in any kind of rock and roll song. That looks like a lute.
The
Mandolin. Yeah.
Smoked my stuff and drank all my
So good.
wine.
Thanks everybody for playing the game today. It was super fun. Kamala seems to know, well, both of you know Weird Al Yankovic, so I guess he'll be on the show soon.
Yeah, we'll get right on that.
Yeah, we'll get right on that. Some cowbell. It's almost my name. I like that you commented. I like the hand dancing. Hand dancing goes well on the show. Joe Fury was doing some.
Took my
You know-
chances on a big jet plane.
I don't
Never
dance
let them
anymore.
tell you that they're all
This guy is good. Yeah.
The sea was red and the sky was gray. I wondered how tomorrow could ever follow today.
This is because you moved from Chicago to California.
Mountains in the canyon start to tremor and shake as the children of the sun begin to wake. Seems like the wrath that the gods got a punch on the nose and it started to flow. I think I might be sinking.
You met Weird Al at the DMV. 6 degrees of Weird Al.
If I'm reaching in time, I'll meet you up there where the best run straight and high.
I hope that there's some banjo in this song somewhere.
Find a queen.
That's the reason
without a
I moved to
king.
LA.
They say she plays guitar and
It is.
cries and sings. Side of white mare on the footsteps of dawn, trying to find a woman who's
Mumford and
never,
Sons.
never been born. Standing on the hill of my mountain of dreams, telling myself it's not as hard as it seems.
They have that cool stained glass Beatles in the background too. That's cool. He doesn't do Michael Jackson parodies anymore. Had 2 big ones. Wow, interesting. Yeah.
There's trivia. Name those 2 big songs.
Beat It, the Beat It one. Eat It, and it must be
One.
the one with the zombies, right? Thriller.
No, he never touched Thriller.
Gosh, Eat It. Blasta's Eat It. What's the other one? The show's
Fat.
over. We'll
The
never
parody's
know.
Fat.
Oh yeah, fat. I'm fat.
I'm fat. You
I know it.